Good evening, everyone, and we are ready to begin our meeting. So if we can have a roll call, please, Mr. Hill.
Mr. Ballard? Here. Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Present.
Mr. Sturgill?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. And pledge of allegiance. No guess? Aha. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recognition of visitors.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I'd like to introduce Joe Ragazine from CenturyLink, and he is here to award, actually, LaValle Ritchie wrote a grant, and she was not able to make it tonight, so Ms. Miller, if you could accept it on our behalf, it'd be fantastic. And Mr. Ragazine, if you could share for us the specifics?
I will. So, good evening. Thanks for having me. My name, once again, is Joe Ragazine. I'm the Regional Operations Manager for CenturyLink, located here in Lorain, Ohio. Since 2008, CenturyLink and the Clark Williams Foundation has been issuing grants to schools within CenturyLink local serving areas on behalf of teachers who develop specific plans to innovate and implement technology into the classroom. So Ms. LaRicci, sorry, she submitted a project to acquire Samsung View 18.4 and LiveScribe 3 to be used as assistive technology to heighten the vision of 7 visually impaired students. This tablet will be used with the LiveScribe 3 pen to enhance their note-taking abilities and also allow the students to see and read information more clearly when its large screen enabled ability to zoom in and out. This really allows them to see words and pictures at a larger scale. It will decrease the students' need to strain their eyes, which will ultimately decrease their headaches. So it's really a wonderful project. So she submitted that. It was considered amongst projects all across the state, and she was a lucky recipient, and the school was a lucky recipient of $4,800 from CenturyLink and the Clark Williams Foundation. So, Principal Miller, I'll give you my big check here on behalf of CenturyLink and the Clark Williams Foundation. I'm proud to award you $4,800 for that project. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now I'll give you the real check.
Am I allowed to take a check?
Don't give her the check.
Now, come on.
There you go.
All right, thank
So
you.
congratulations.
And on behalf of Lorain City Schools, we'd like to thank CenturyLink, the Clark Williams Foundation, and obviously Joe for your support and our students. And I think I'd like to thank LaValle Ritchie, Ms. Ritchie. We have a lot of teachers who write a lot of grants, and there's a lot of time they spend during the school day. There's a lot of time that teachers spend after the school day preparing, and they also put forth a lot of effort to secure additional funds to make sure that the needs of our children are met. So thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Go straight to Josh. It's right. Yeah, thank you.
Right to you.
Just say it louder for him.
That's right. Go ahead.
See you, Joe.
At this time, we would entertain our first hearing of the public. Great. Then I need a motion to approve or amend the sign minutes from April 17th.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard? Yes. Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes. Is there any old business for discussion? This time we'll have recommendation and report of the treasurer. Mr. Hill.
Recommend for approval items 8.01 to 8.05.
So moved. Support.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes. This time we have report and recommendations from the superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I'd like the board to consider for approval 10.01 to 10.09, personnel matters.
So moved. You want to exclude 10.06?
We need to exclude.
Yeah, it's 10.06, please.
So the motion
that's right,
as
that's right,
read,
thank you.
excluding
Yep.
10.06.
So moved. I'll support.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sturgill? Yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Need a motion for 10.06.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Demakia?
Abstain.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
And I'd like the board to consider for approval 11.01 to 11.14, excluding 11.05.
So moved. Support.
Discussion?
I just want to make a statement regarding the 11.02. I think we're very fortunate in having First Student as our transportation company. They have done great things for us while they've been here. I see Brad back there. They came up with the program for high school students that got us off the hook and made it very economical for parents to buy the bus pass. We're not obligated to do that for anyone, which means we don't have to bus charter high school kids or anyone else, and I'm glad to see we're staying with them for another 5 years. Lorain has always outsourced its transportation, and if Jeff Hawks were here tonight, I'd ask him how much we save, but I think we save a lot compared to districts that do their own busing. So I just wanted to thank First Student and pass that on to all your drivers, and thank you.
And we are ready for a roll call. We do a roll call.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes. And we now need a motion for 11.05.
So moved. Support.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Demakia?
Abstain.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes. That's that. Any new business for discussion? Committee reports, requests from board members. There's a lot of action going on.
Let the Cavs play.
How about those calves?
Yeah, well, you know, it reminds me.
Here you go.
So,
Why did you hit?
so
Don't poke him.
my dad's a pastor, right?
Don't
And,
poke him.
so, you know, you have church and kind of everything is done. But he had this thing, like, we could not get out until like 2 o'clock. So, here we are, 1:15. Everybody's done what they need to do. And so we're gonna go back to the agenda. No. When is the next board meeting?
I do want to, just for the record, since
I
I've
just wanted to
seen
introduce you, yes,
this,
Yeah, I was gonna
Valley
introduce you.
Ritchie
Yep.
come in, we did already recognize the check, so.
We took the money and we decided that we were going to do a retreat in Hawaii. So I don't know what that's gonna pay for, except maybe I have a ticket, but.
Before you're here in the Valley, we thanked you, and again, if there's any comments you'd like to make based on, Joe Ragazine was here earlier, and Christine Miller accepted the check on our behalf. He spoke to what the grant was aimed at, but if you'd like to add some comments, that would be.
I brought two of the students from the visually impaired program.
And I'm sorry, can you come over this way so we can catch you on camera, please?
Come on, come on. And the visually impaired air program.
Go right
Come on over here, come
There
on.
we go.
You can't hide from that camera.
Nope, you're on.
I just brought, these two are my sons, who are been in the visually impaired program since he was 3 years old. So they came up through the special ed and preschool program. And it was a grant, my daughter in Texas came up with the idea, and, because they have visually impaired down in Texas, and it's new technology that's out here that the visually impaired students will be able to take it with them. So we wouldn't have to call for anybody from the tech department. It'll always be on them when they take the air test, Procore, anything. It'll be with all the VI students in the district. It's just not for mine, it's for all the VI students. And then I also put in there for the VI parapros and the VI teacher to have one of those devices also, and get training on them and everything. But I'm very proud, with Christine Miller here, the principal, and then we have the VI parapro, Cheryl Cherney, and then Celestino Quendo and Pablo Quendo, who will be taking it to the high school. So it'll be much easier. It'll be a pouch that they carry. It's just like a big screen tablet, which does the same thing as you would if they were taking any test. They would just have it with them for accommodations. It's just very good for accommodations.
Excellent. Thanks for taking the extra time, and not just to explain it, but to lead us in that direction. So thank you very
So
much.
it'll update Lorain City Schools with the VI
Keep
program.
it as current.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And also, it was kind of buried in there, in terms of recommendations. I see that we have a soccer coach, which means we have soccer.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. How long did it take you to figure that one out?
It took me a little while there, but that's a neat.
We've had soccer in the past.
Yeah.
Rick's coached it. in the
Where's
past.
coach in the
What's he
past?
doing? Huh?
Did he coach before?
Oh, yeah, he's been coaching for a lot of years.
Yeah, where you been?
He used to be the girls' coach.
Right, and then we kind of.
Then he moved down to the, yeah, and he was a coach before they cut him.
Yeah, but now it's back.
He took over when I left years ago.
Yeah.
You have to go coach somebody else.
I did.
Jim asked me a question, he wants to know where he been.
Wow. Did you see that? Boy, Did you see that?
He didn't answer.
Okay, next board meeting.
The sun is shining, guys, the sun is shining, I just.
So, with that in mind, I need a motion for adjournment.
When's the next meeting?
May 1st.
May 1st.
May
No
1st.
second hearing of the public either, huh?
Oh, yes, new folks want to do the second hearing. Anybody want to talk to us?
Oh, there's nobody now.
I didn't think so. So, May 1st is the next meeting.
Correct.
See you guys here. Motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Roll call.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yep.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.